A new note from Morgan Stanley suggests that times are changing for sports fans as the channels they're accustomed to watching the big games on could all be moving to streaming. Yahoo Finance's Allie Canal has been watching this landscape very closely. So how do we think it's going to shake out?
Well, Morgan Stanley is out with a very comprehensive note just about sports and how it's going to play into the media world going forward. And there's a couple things that I want to point out. Number one is all these major contracts for these sports leagues, they're expiring by the year 2030. So that's going to create a lot of opportunity here for different media giants, different streaming players to get some skin in the game. Morgan Stanley laid out 3 different scenarios that could possibly play out, and I want to tick through those quickly. Scenario number 1 is that cord cutting continues to remain elevated, therefore forcing broadcasters to pull out of some of those pricier deals. As a result, big tech would step in, and we'd see some of those major streaming players, including Netflix, which has been very resistant to getting into the sports game, really leaning in on those professional contracts. Now, this would benefit the sports rights holders and franchises as it would lead to a more competitive market. It would also be a good thing for some of those streaming giants looking to get into the game here, but it would be bad for those more traditional broadcasters. Next is scenario number 2. Now, this is a world where cord cutting rates moderate. There's a consolidation in the media world, and as a result, more streaming sports bundles emerge. So this would benefit companies like Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers Discovery, who already have those streaming components within their respective businesses. But this scenario would be a bad thing for big tech as prices would be higher to nab some of those more expensive sports packages. And then scenario number 3, once again, cord cutting rates moderate. We see that consolidation in media. However, we are also going to see big tech, instead of leaning into sports, they would back off due to the risk of profit losses. So this would be a net negative to those sports rights holders since they would have fewer bids, but it would tilt in favor of the buyers, aka streamers and big tech. So there's quite a few ways that this could go moving forward.
Is there one they think is most likely?
So one thing that I do want to point out and that I was surprised by is they are very bullish that Netflix is going to be a leader in the sports game over the long term. And Netflix has consistently said, we're not anti-sports, we're pro-profits, and it's just not part of our business. But because they're on this path to profitability and free cash flow, Morgan Stanley at least thinks Netflix is going to emerge, surpass ESPN, and be a major player in sports in the long term. So, it all comes down to this cord cutting situation and how broadcasters respond to it. A lot of different things, but overall, sports is going to be a disruptor for all of media. Depending on which way it goes remains to be seen, though.
So interesting. Thanks a lot, Ellie.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.